back to episode 7 of the Unposted Thoughts podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
With co-host Johnny.
And we are back. We did take a small 4 or 5 day break. Johnny was under the weather and we couldn't record. Thankfully, he is doing well.
Way better today.
He's back and he's better. We've got a list of topics today. I'm going to kick it off with, of course, what everybody's talking about, what's in the news, what's on social media.
Everything.
The P. Diddy scandal. He had his homes raided in, I think, Miami and California, and it's a big deal. Allegedly, he's being accused of, like, running a sex trafficking operation or, God knows what. Now, these are accusations, of course. There's no actual factual information as of yet. We did see that when the homes were raided, his private jet was en route to leaving the U.S.
Oh, the whole country just leaving.
Yeah, just evading the country. And something else came out that I saw. I don't know if you saw that. They found the plane. He wasn't on there.
So it was like a decoy or something?
Who knows? This all started pretty much back in November of 2023 with Cassie and her, accusations against him. She did come out and sue him for $30 million. They settled on an undisclosed amount. What that tells me is either she got 30 million or
more.
or more.
Yeah.
But this is a case that I want to follow closely just because it's kind of like a Me Too 2, Me Too Part 2. And it's definitely interesting to see, I don't want to say like the downfall of like powerful people, because that's never something you want to, look at and
Well, and some people that are in this kind of light that supposedly run rings and they assault people sexually. A lot of people love bringing them down.
No, but what I'm saying is because sometimes they'll try to bring people in power down that it's not true, like just false accusations. I'm not saying that's the case with Diddy. I definitely think he is, involved in some of these things that he's being accused of, allegedly. The thing that I'm saying is I don't want to, what's the word, I guess, relish on someone's
downfall, basically.
Yeah, but I'm gonna follow it as I'm sure the rest of you guys are as well. Now, I don't know if you remember our first or second episode, we talked about the Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, I did remember.
He mentioned in that interview that he turned down $50 million 4 different times. That apparently P. Diddy wanted to party with him, and in some way, shape, or form, he was going to get $50 million. That could have been, Diddy's a powerful person. It could have been, hey, I'm going to give you a film, a tour,
etc., to get him in that.
To get him into those, quote unquote, Diddy parties.
You think he knew in advance?
Who?
Cat Williams, that's why he turned it down, because 50 million is 50 million.
I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he knew. He's a very intuitive guy, and these rumors have followed Diddy for years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when he was at the Breakfast Club and they pulled up the videos of him.
Yeah, the sound audio
bites,
clips.
Of him saying, "Oh, I like when you scrambling for shit, daddy." Like,
I think, wasn't he next to a pool or something like that?
I don't know, but I know he was talking to, I believe, Fabulous, who's another rapper from New York, and it just leaves a lot of people like questioning, like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like,
because it's like
no
one says that to other people.
I mean, it's like me and you were so close, right? But I'm never like, hey, daddy,
you want to do a podcast tonight? Like, basically, we don't do that, no.
And that's, I guess, what was going on with Diddy, and a lot of people
in the parties.
A lot of people knew. And again, that's what I'm saying. It's like Me Too Part 2, because it goes kind of back to the Harvey Weinstein situation. A lot of people that were partaking in these films, getting these contracts through Lionsgate, which was his firm, his company. Again, allegedly.
Yeah.
This is all stuff that came out. People were coming out and accusing him of things. This kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but because it's not something people talk about, and I definitely think people should discuss it more often. If you were, abused,
Oh yeah, they should
assaulted,
definitely come out.
come out and say
Yeah,
it. The thing that I mean, maybe because I've never been in that situation, but
I think the
it's
reason it's kind of like 50-50 with these victims coming out is a lot of them are hollow. They're just accusations that hurt, just
there's no like concrete evidence, but
yeah.
the thing that gets me is like taking so much time to come out and say
Well, it's a bunch of pressure. If it
this is what
happens,
happened, and I understand it could be, a tumultuous, pressure filled
yeah.
thing for people. Another thing I saw was the Nickelodeon show on HBO where they're pretty much talking about same thing, kind of same,
Same
same gist, different,
different place.
same shit, different toilet, or what do they call
Yeah,
it? Different day, whatever.
yeah.
Um, but it's with Dan Schneider, who was
Mm,
accused of being like misogynistic, rude to his staff, and you see like all these clips coming out of the shows he created.
yeah.
We
I heard
grew up
he.
on them.
Yeah, we grew up on those shows.
It's like Zoe 101, iCarly, and he had these like actors, male and female, doing these like weird skits
Oof.
that you look back on him now in 2024, and you're just
You question them because we're in such a new time. I
like
think I saw.
they're very sexualized, and you're
Yeah,
just kind of like,
I did
yeah,
hear that Schneider had a thing with feet. I'm not sure. I saw like in that one iCarly episode,
say allegedly now.
allegedly. Well, it's true because I think there's a
Yeah,
tweet that's still out after all this is going down where he asks people to enter
like
their
submit.
submit their feet pics into this email. And I think the tweet's still up. I'm not sure
We have
if
to
they took it
find it.
down, but it's through. I think it's through Nickelodeon, like their Nickelodeon page.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'm
that's so weird if that's true.
if it's
Um,
still up. Yeah.
I mean, what happened well, what they talked about in the show, you've got to
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
It's on
I got the
HBO.
subscription. I don't know why I
They
haven't watched it.
they pretty much people who were on his set who were working under him, like a person on there was Brian Peck,
Hmm.
and Drake Bell comes out in the episode and he pretty much states what this gentleman did to him, and it's pretty freaking interesting. Like
Mm.
it's creepy as hell. Like the guy was like pen pals with like John Wayne Gacy,
Yeah.
who is a famous murderer, but
Yeah. Oh, that's
um it's just
wait.
crazy shit, dude. And again, this is kind of like I don't know if 2024 we're in Me Too Part 2 or like what's going on. I do like the fact that the truth is coming out, and
Definitely.
I'm a firm believer in the truth will always prevail.
Of course.
Always, always. You can
Always.
try to hide it, you can throw dirt on it, you can cover it up,
Try to
but
run away from it.
that shit's gonna come out at some point. So I'm like deeply, invested in like what's going on with these cases. Now, again, this is definitely like Me Too Part 2 era 2024. I just think for all the people in power, the gatekeepers, as we would say, are their time is up. Time's ticking for the gatekeepers, and I mean it's interesting to see, powerful men, their lies being exposed, their
Their
crazy
guilt
ass.
finally catching up
What
to
would you
them.
call? I mean, is that a kink or
Well,
their crazy ass like kinks?
definitely the power going into their heads because with both situations with Diddy and Mr. Schneider, they like
Well, and
Diddy,
Peck.
yeah, Mr. Peck, Diddy, he's like top of the top. Back
Yeah, that's
even
like
back to the 2000s. Just the same with Mr. Peck. He's the director and all this, I'm assuming, right?
I think he was like a speech coach or something, but
Yeah,
Schneider was again creme of the creme, and
there
like
you go.
you are seeing these things come out now. My thing is just like we could avoid times like this and situations like this if you just come out and say something sooner. I know it's not always possible because you're afraid, you're being blackmailed, like in their cases, they're in the entertainment and music industry. You don't want to get
Mm-hmm.
blackballed,
Mm-hmm.
but just come out and say it because again, the truth always prevails.
Of course.
So
And there will be people
I mean, look at
alongside you.
like Monique. I don't know if you've been following this, but like she said for years, Netflix tried to blackball her. They were being gender biased,
Yeah.
color biased, with Monique and Tyler Perry trying to blackball
Hmm.
her, this and that for years. Literally, this has been going on for years.
Mm.
She spoke on it. Just now, you're seeing that come full circle, and it's like, okay, this person isn't crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I'm pretty sure that's another big reason why they don't do it. Because they're gonna be labeled as crazy. They're gonna be foddered off and forgotten about.
and that's what's so interesting to me. Every time this like social media generation hears something that doesn't abide with whatever agenda they're on,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this person's crazy.
it's crazy.
And you can't be so quick to call somebody crazy.
You kind of have to
I
look into it. Yeah.
I would much rather though be labeled as crazy. I don't care as long
Truth.
as I'm speaking truth and getting that out off of, my letting my soul rest easy.
Correct.
That shit's not on my conscience and I can come out and say what it is. So I'm pretty excited that all these gatekeepers are pretty much shaking in their boots. Hopefully whatever video cameras were confiscated at his houses or whatever. I saw a story that a bunch of cameras were
Yeah.
confiscated or found. Hopefully they contain some shit and
To
hopefully,
convict both of them.
I mean, apparently there's more executives, more powerful people involved. So I guess we'll just see how this thing plays out. Um,
You think though it'll be what I'm thinking is with the cameras from the house that all these executives will try to invest what people call hush money.
oh, cover it up.
Yeah, cover it up.
I'm
So
sure. I'm sure that's what's gonna end up happening. I mean,
yeah. Well, I hope
and
the evidence in
but
those
again,
cameras.
again, in 10 years, if that's the case now, in 10 years we'll see that, you know,
Yeah.
either money was paid to this person or this to
Yeah.
cover that up. Again, the truth always prevails.
Yeah,
And
I hope the evidence in those cameras weighs it down enough that they all get exposed, Diddy and the executives.
yeah, and you guys just I mean, I know you're a very honest person. It's just
Correct.
better to walk in truth, walk in light than
You feel
to
comfortable in your own skin.
I'm never looking over my shoulder like thinking, who did I lie to? Who did I cheat?
Yeah.
Who did I? And you just got to live your life like that. Moving on to something, much lighter. Texas police has a tracking dart.
Oh, what?
So,
I think yes, I did hear about it. So it's a tracking dart that will shoot out from the front of a cop car mid chase. I'm pretty sure everybody viewing us has seen a video of a pursuit or a
or
chase
or
on
a
the
cop
highway.
chase. I mean, we live
Yeah,
in Houston. We see them often. People trying to evade police.
yeah.
This tracking dart is said to like track, people and eliminate the need to be doing high speed chases,
Because it's very dangerous.
which could potentially save lives. Now, the only thing that I get from this is each dart costs $20,000. What this tells me as a Texan, as a law-abiding citizen that pays taxes, for me, it just means more money,
Well, of course, more money,
more
more
taxes is what I'm
taxes.
saying. And I'm not saying avoid taxes, but I mean, we're just kind of at a state where it's like,
Mm. You kind of like you're affected by these decisions.
yeah, of course.
I look at it as, of course, with the higher taxes. I just hope they put it in good use because on the during I'm pretty sure like after 7 or 8 p.m. you start hearing the highway. I know I live close to a highway and
Yeah, you're like 2 minutes away
yeah,
from
so you
two
hear those
freeways.
engines going off, those cars on the highway going God knows what speed.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot
I,
of people that are not the brightest out here. They're not the brightest drivers. They,
I mean,
little,
if you would try to like run away from police, it's like, come on, dude. You're risking not only your life, but you're kind of giving everybody else on the road a big F you,
yeah,
and that's not cool either. Again, my only way of viewing this is like more taxes.
yeah.
I'm
It's
just one of those
you.
people that's like
You can't
already
avoid it
paying
though.
so much taxes
Yeah, you can't
that
avoid it.
it's like okay, damn.
Yeah, you can't
But
really avoid it because we all pay it. We all complain about it. We're on in the same page.
yeah.
We're on the same
In
page.
in also recent news, Mayor Whitmire, Houston mayor, came out and said the city is broke. So, we as a city, Houston is broke. Again, same thing that tells me is
It's higher and higher.
tax hike for Texans, well, Houstonians. He proposed a 5% cut for, the public servants, of course, unless you're a police officer or a firefighter. Now,
So like ambulances and stuff and everything else.
I don't know. All I read on the I think it was the Houston news, that pretty much unless you're a police officer or a firefighter, you won't be affected. I'm wondering the same thing. What about
Yeah,
EMTs? What about these uh
all these other public services available to us
yeah, like
that will suffer,
hospitals? I wonder if that's going to be affected that are funded by, the government. I don't know. I just feel
or
like a
maybe
lot of
even construction crews
yeah, I mean even already the roads are like not
in bad condition somewhere.
I don't want to say in bad condition. It's just some areas that it's like they patch a pothole and then it's back 3 months later, 4 months later.
Yeah,
It's like they're just slapping a band-aid on it, and it's just like if we're out of money as a city, like this shit's only gonna get worse.
yeah.
And
Well, it takes long, you know. We all, most of you Houstonians know, downtown's always having something repaired.
yeah,
Imagine with this cut to their
5% cut.
funding, yeah,
Yeah.
the 5% cut to their funding, it'll just take longer.
I just think, I mean, if you're a person in power and you really want to lead by example, and you're making a killing, your paycheck is fat and your pockets are well lined, take a pay cut, lead by example. I don't know how much the mayor's making or any of these public servants, but if that's what's truly going to help the city, take a pay cut, you're the person proposing this bill or whatever it is that you're proposing these cuts. Again, you're going to take money from public servants and then turn around and tax hike the rest of the citizens. And with me, that doesn't really sit well. But
Yeah.
I'm just a citizen, like Johnny said. I abide by the law. I'm not in politics. I can't do anything about that. I can't. I wouldn't even know who to talk to about that. But it is something that just kind of leaves you like,
Baffled.
yeah,
Because a lot of the areas around Houston, their living situations are only getting pricier.
yeah.
A lot of rebuilding. We got the influx
Gentrification,
of
a lot
people.
of yeah. Um, So, I mean, to only see that this situation is not going to improve anytime soon, it's kind of annoying.
Very annoying. Very annoying.
In other news, did you see Florida ban social media for, I guess, children under the age of 14?
Yeah, I've read lightly on it. The main thing that baffles me is how are they gonna put that wall up, that fence? Because when we were younger, we if we knew how to get there, we would get there to all these like when you're
Oh,
young, you're
websites and
13,
stuff.
yeah,
I
those
think it's just going to
websites.
be like enter your information. I don't think there's a way to validate that what these people are inputting into these apps is true. But then it kind of goes back to what we've also discussed on the podcast is like the I guess the policing of like these social media
All these
platforms.
websites,
It's
all
just going to
these,
increase and in a way it's good and it's got its pros and its cons. I
yeah,
don't want to say it's completely bad, but I do think that this will help a lot with the mental health
of the younger
of the
generation.
younger generation. I mean, when me and Johnny were growing up, we would go outside and play. We weren't hooked to our iPad, hooked to Instagram.
Well, didn't even exist for us to
That
be
didn't
hooked on.
exist. I mean, MySpace was a thing, but it was like kind of like 30 minutes every week.
In
It's
and
not.
out.
It wasn't what
What it is
society
now.
is today.
Yeah,
So um, I definitely see that as a pro. As
of
far as from
course.
a mental health standpoint, I definitely do think that children will benefit from this
Hmm.
as long as they're being honest. Again, like you said, I don't know how they're going to monitor. Let's say a 14-year-old saying he's 20, or
Yeah, because a lot of this stuff is entrusted upon the parent. I know there's parents that give their child a phone for entertainment almost like super early, and there's parents that do wait those 13, 14 years to entrust a phone to their child,
yeah.
and it's just tricky because there's a lot of parents out there, including you. You're not gonna have the whole day to keep eyes on
I
your
mean,
child.
I guess I want to ask you how you would be as a parent. I know you don't have kids, but
Not yet.
would you be one of those parents that's just kind of like take an iPad, take a phone, or
Oh
are you
no.
gonna be? Because me and my wife have talked about this. We're definitely not gonna just be like, here,
Here's a
here's an
device.
iPad, here's a phone, do it, like have at it. We're definitely gonna wait. But you're right. It goes back to parenting. A lot of these parents don't have time. Thankfully, I mean, I work 24/7, but my wife takes the time to like,
Parent, you're
parent,
take care of the
and
child.
I'm comfortable with parenting. It's a conversation we've had, as far as parenting styles.
Of course. And I think, well, my opinion on it, of course, is I'll wait. Not only because here's how I see it. When people, including me, and I'm pretty sure it's including a lot of people, when we go on social, not only just social media, but just entertainment or anything available,
Any platform.
any platform on these devices is, let's be honest, it's mostly entertainment, mostly like movies, what's going on social media. Maybe I know we have a lot of our favorite creators. It's just entertainment,
Yeah.
and yes, it's gonna give us that satisfaction that we're only gonna crave more of. And in my opinion, not only is it going to help my child that he or she does not have a device, but it's also going to help me to take a break because I'm investing my time in my child to properly raise and maybe use it as a learning
Yeah, you're
experience.
teaching them important, key values as
Mm,
opposed to just here,
constant entertainment.
daddy's busy, so
Go distract
yeah,
yourself.
distract yourself. I definitely do see Texas implementing these kind of
These kind of
rules,
restrictions.
regulations, because again, anytime I mean Texas and Florida are very similar as far as lawmaking and regulations. So
Yeah,
I see Texas kind of implementing this.
I
So
wouldn't be opposed to it. I would be for it. I'd be
yeah,
for it.
so I'm pretty interested in seeing how this plays out for Florida, and what the statistics look like a year from today. Also, I'd be interested in seeing how Texas implements, if not that regulation, something similar to that. Again,
Yeah,
we know that policing of social media platforms is
very
is
difficult.
is happening. It's
Yeah.
coming. I mean, they're pretty much telling us this with the whole TikTok ban. So we know that it's right around the corner. We just don't know in which way.
Will you
Yeah,
have to like
to what
scan,
degree,
yeah, will you have to scan your ID or something, the back or something? Definitely if that's implemented with all these terms of service.
I'll just stay off of the platforms,
Yeah.
honestly.
And it's not only that, it's not only the platforms that exist, but it's new platforms because we're seeing not only the old platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, which are old platforms, we're also seeing new platforms like TikTok. There's this one called Rumble. It's kind of like Twitch, where people stream there. They live stream
Yeah.
on Rumble and Twitch, and you get these young audiences hooked because it's that entertainment.
Yeah.
And with these new, what I'm saying with these new platforms is the reason they come out is because they don't have as much restrictions like considering nudity or graphical
Well,
content.
because they haven't reached that point in their
Yeah,
platform where they have to come back and revisit the
of
terms
course.
of service
And that's
and
why a lot of people swarm
are
to those
always
platforms.
hopping to new
Yeah,
platforms. I get what you're saying.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm interested to see how this plays out in Texas. I know, um, hopefully it's not more taxes.
Well, hopefully,
That's all I'm thinking about.
like mentioning TikTok and all that spiel we went on the last episode I was in. Hopefully, it's not a big breach because, of course, however they're gonna implement it, they're gonna have to implement it hard because let's be honest, the implements now, are you 18 and over? Yes or
Yeah.
no?
If
It's
it's
just
something like that, that's gonna be so kind of like
it's paper thin.
pointless. And yeah, paper thin, as Johnny said.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll see how all of this plays out. There's a lot of shit happening in the world that we're just like,
Baffled by, we're just stunned.
yeah, but let's sit here and be witnesses to it.
Mhm.
We will see you guys next week. We have some creative stuff coming up for episode 8 and 9. Johnny, you guys can wish him, his well wishes. We definitely want him to feel better and 100%. What would you say you're at right now?
So right now I'm above 90. I feel good. Of
You're like
course, I'm still
95?
a little congested, maybe like a 93.
Okay.
We know the how irritating and annoying it can be being sick. And it's
Yeah.
just last week, towards the end, Thursday, Friday, maybe even Wednesday, it rained, and we had an event outside.
Yeah, and you were
And
outside in the rain.
yeah, I brought my umbrella, but working with your hands occupied,
Yeah,
and
you're
I
still
got
prone
drenched.
to like
Yeah,
getting drenched.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. If you have anything you want us to discuss, anything you are, wanting to ask us, you can always ask Johnny, myself. My wife is gonna be sporadically, popping in every other episode or so. You guys are more than welcome to ask her any questions. As far as parenting tips, how it's going for her as a new mom,
Updates on previous topics or even new topics.
new topics you guys want to hear. So without postponing, we're going to close this episode and we will see you guys in a week. God bless.